Welcome to the Sunday preview for this 4th of July, and it's the 14th week in Ordinary Time, and we continue reading through the Gospel of St. Mark, and this passage is from chapter 6, and it says, Jesus departed from there and came to his native place, accompanied by his disciples. When the Sabbath came, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many who heard him were astounded. They said, "Where does this man get all this? What kind of wisdom has been given to him? What mighty deeds are wrought by his hands? Is he not the carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon? And are not his sisters with us?" And they took offense at him. Jesus said, "A prophet is not without honor except in his native place and among his own kin and in his own house." So he was not able to perform any mighty deeds there, apart from curing a few sick people by laying hands on them. He was amazed at their lack of faith. Amazed at their lack of faith. The lack of faith often seems to tie Jesus' hands. He could do no miracles there. And it's as if our faith really is almost a precondition for Jesus to work in an effective way. And we have to have that disposition of faith and openness and acceptance of Jesus. But these people had already prejudged him. You know, the typical small town mentality that they don't expect anybody to succeed or excel or to show any great qualities in a small town where the mentality is very parochial. And when Jesus comes back and they had heard all these great stories about him, and he starts preaching there in Nazareth, they won't accept him. And as Jesus said, the prophet is not without honor except in his native place. And that reminds us also of how difficult it can be for us to try to transmit the gospel with those who are closest to us. I think we all have experienced that difficulty, that the people closest to you are the least impressed when you're trying to live out your faith very often. That it's hard to get credibility with the people that are closest to you. And it's a dilemma for us all, because the more we deepen our faith and the more we love God, the more we want to share that with other people. It's natural. You want the best for them. You want salvation for them. You want happiness for them. And you've discovered it, right? And it's as if you find a treasure in a field and nobody else wants anything to do with it. It can really distress us. A lot of people get very worried and anxious about that because their loved ones don't accept the gospel. And that's what it was for Christ. And in those cases, we've got to offer that to God in prayer. We've got to be people who just stay steady and give an example and a testimony of the truth, and not compromise and not give in. And we got to be people who are willing to sacrifice for them, to offer voluntary sacrifice for everybody around us. Because the people in Nazareth were just like us. They thought they had Jesus figured out, and they knew enough, and they were complacent. And somebody had to pray, and somebody had to sacrifice to move them from that complacency. Jesus knew that. The gospel ends by saying Jesus was amazed at their lack of faith. They should have had that openness. So should our families and friends,